didn't always agree on policy, you could still sit down, find common ground, and make progress. President Clinton worried less about an idea being a Democrat or Republican one. He just cared about whether it made sense for our country. And that's the same lesson I learned in the private sector, at Ford Motor Company and Microsoft. And then at the Federal Communications Commission, where I led up the first Office of Public-Private Initiatives, looking for ways to help create jobs in the tech and telecom sector without burdening businesses with unnecessary regulations. The goal was always clear. It was about finding solutions and getting something done, even if both sides only got 80% of what they wanted. The truth is, a lot of folks I've talked to have come to realize that my opponent, Scott Garrett, simply isn't that kind of leader. He's one of the most rigid, right-wing members of Congress. His own staff brags that he was the Tea Party before there even was a Tea Party. In fact, he's actually a founder of the Freedom Caucus. And their whole goal is to impose an extreme agenda that is very far from the values I know we all share. I'm running for Congress because we need to kick out the Tea Party, kick out the do-nothing approach, kick up our economy up a notch, and make North Jersey a place where more businesses want to open and grow, not pack up and leave. If we can draw more companies here, more companies like this one, small and large, and keep others here to grow, we will create more jobs and more opportunity, expand revenue, and ultimately lower our taxes. I want the next J&J, Inrad, Thor Labs, Audible.com, Stryker, and Uber to come here to North Jersey, to towns like Hackensack and Newton and Northvale. And that's not a pipe dream. Think about it for a minute. We have so many assets here in North Jersey. We have some of the smartest minds in the country coming out of our schools and colleges. We approximated the financial capital of the world. We have a long history in pharmaceuticals, biotech, energy, hospitals. And thanks to our Bell Labs, we have some of the fastest broadband in America sitting underground here. You know, the entire back end of the New York Stock Exchange sits in Mahwah, just a few miles from here. And of course, we've got beautiful lakes and great shopping and incredible pizza, and we've got Bruce Springsteen. That's why I chose to launch my campaign here at INRAD, because right here, you're tapping into all of New Jersey has to offer. Right, our people, our ingenuity, our energy. It's exciting, but we got to bring everyone here to see what we can do. These businesses need a champion, someone who makes things less complicated and less expensive, someone who will be in their communities and come to their meetings, listen to them, be involved, and make their case to Washington, and then work with others to get things done. And the people who work here need a champion too, someone who will stand up for them and remember them and fight for them every single day in Washington. Scott Garrett is an absentee congressman at home and rigid, uncompromising, and ineffective congressman in Washington. It's the worst of both worlds, and it's unfortunate. It's holding us back. I will be a hands-on congressman. You will see me. You'll meet with me, talk with me, and share your ideas with me. I'll take your cause to Washington, reach across the aisle, and build coalitions to get things done. I'll work with Democrats, Republicans, and independents to pass comprehensive tax reform to get lower rates and more certainty for companies, so they can compete globally and create jobs here at home. Our tax code is outdated. It's ineffective. It holds us back and costs us jobs. Let's fix the code and close loopholes, just like President Reagan and Speaker O'Neill did in 1986 by working together across party lines. And I'll work to cut unnecessary spending, regulation, and red tape that's in the way of the private sector, our absolute engine of economic opportunity. I'll work to pass comprehensive immigration reform so millions of people can participate legally in the workforce and pay their taxes and do right by their families. And as I saw at Microsoft, help us keep some of the brightest minds here in the United States after they study at the likes of NJIT and Rutgers and Ramapo and Fairleigh Dickinson and Princeton. Because as I learned in business, we can't just cut our way to success. It just won't work. We need to invest. Invest in STEM education, in research and development, in energy and science and technology, the keys to our nation's competitive edge. That's why I founded Jersey On, a nonprofit committed to connecting low-income students to the internet so they can compete in the new economy. And just like Eisenhower did in the 1950s, I'll work to fix our infrastructure, our crumbling roads and bridges and tunnels, and to get our mass transit system back on the rails. You know, 1/3 of our roads and bridges in New Jersey are considered unsafe. 1/3 are unsafe. and they cost drivers here an average of $1,951. Why would more businesses want to come here with a cost like that and infrastructure that's crumbling? It just doesn't make sense. You know, these are all issues that the United States Chamber of Commerce has also been a staunch champion of, because as they put it, a positive future will not come automatically. It will not happen through divine intervention. We must work for it. We must earn it. Now, speaking of earning it, right now here in the 5th District, for every single hard-earned federal tax dollar we're paying out of our pockets, did you know we're getting back 33 cents on the dollar? So for every dollar you pull out of your pocket and pay in federal taxes, we're getting 33 cents back in federal spending. Compare that to a place like West Virginia, where they get about $4.23 back for every dollar they pay out in federal taxes. The difference is astonishing. And it's attributable to Scott Garrett's inaction and inability to deliver for the people of our district. What does this mean for us? It means that our return on investment is one of the worst in the country. And we have to make up that difference by paying more in state and local taxes, solely because Scott Garrett and his Tea Party gang in Washington, they don't believe in any government investment, even if it would help repair a bridge or help schools in our communities. That just doesn't make sense. I like to call this gap between the amount we pay in federal taxes and the amount we get back in federal dollars the Garrett tax. It amounts to about $20,000 a year per person in the 5th District. That Garrett tax, the shortfall of what we pay out and what we get back, exists because Scott Garrett refuses to deliver for us. He doesn't fight for us. He's not our champion. When Hurricane Sandy struck, Garrett came out and said no money for New Jersey, the Garrett tax. When the transportation bill was up last December with dollars to fix our roads and bridges and help fix our rails, Garrett was the only person in the entire New Jersey congressional delegation to vote no. He put the entire burden on our state and local taxes. Another example of the Garrett tax. When he had the chance to support the Export-Import Bank, a program that makes the federal government money and supports more than 28,000 jobs in our state, he voted no, the Garrett tax. I know in business, if you don't get a good ROI, you find a new investment opportunity. I think it's time we repealed the Garrett tax and focused on getting investments we need to create jobs and grow our businesses here in the 5th District. Let me go over just a couple quick other facts, because I learned from my dad, and I think you got this from Ronald Reagan, facts are stubborn things. Here are the facts. Garrett's core agenda is to advance a partisan, no-compromise agenda, and as I said, say no to everything. No to vets and no to Homeland Security. No to investing in research and development that places like Internet depend on. No to the ARC tunnel, which would have relieved congestion for commuters. No to raising the debt ceiling when our country was on the verge of defaulting. He voted no to equal pay for women, no to family medical leave, and he was one of 9 members of all 435 members of Congress to vote against the Violence Against Women Act. Only 1 of 9 to vote against protecting women. Really? He also voted against funding for mammograms, voted to privatize Social Security and Medicare, and pushed to shut down the Department of Education. And this is particularly heartbreaking. Scott Garrett has consistently refused to honor and support some of our most patriotic and heroic members of our communities. Garrett voted against job training, prosthetics, and other support for our veterans who fought for our country overseas. He voted against money for our first responders who put their lives in line for us every day, including grants for new life-saving equipment and money for Homeland Security that helps communities find lone wolf terrorists. In fact, in December, Scott Garrett voted against the Droga bill, which included health care for 9/11 first responders who've grown sick after running into the burning towers on 9/11 to save the lives of thousands, including so many here in our community. He recently told a first responder who went to see him about passing the Droga Act that he was sorry, but he couldn't help him because the legislation gave him heartburn. He actually told the first responder that. When it comes to our most basic individual rights, it gets even worse. Garrett is anti-choice, even in cases of rape and incest. He votes against stem cell research and even believes that evolution shouldn't be taught in our schools. And this summer, Scott Garrett told a room full of Republicans that he would not pay his Republican Party dues until they stopped supporting gay candidates for Congress. Yes, he doesn't believe that gay people should be allowed to serve in Congress. And he's never even denied that. Imagine if anyone had said that about African Americans or Italians, Irish, Jews, or women. Imagine if he'd said that. Business Week recently dubbed him Wall Street's bigot in Washington. It's just shameful. I know it's hard to believe, but these are the facts. And I think we can all agree that they're not Jersey values, and they're certainly not the values that built our country. So this brings me back to where I started. This can't be about any one party. It can't be about some national Tea Party agenda. It's about problem solving here for us, across party lines. It's no accident that I'm here with Amy Eccleston, a Republican CEO from Sussex County, and Cory Booker, a Democratic senator from the great county of Bergen County. So let's cut the Garrett tax. Let's cut the Tea Party agenda, and let's cut Scott Garrett out of Congress. Let's invest in a new approach by electing someone who wants to attract more businesses and families here to North Jersey and fight for everyone, Democrats, Republicans, and independents across the district, in Bergen County, in Sussex, in Warren, and Passaic. In fact, I'll be in Warren later today, and I know they too are desperate for a change. Scott Garrett doesn't care about your return on investment. I do. So together we can do this, especially if we bring that fiscally conservative, socially progressive, pro-business, pro-Jersey values approach. I believe if we make the right investments and choices now and think toward the future, our best days will always be ahead of us. As Ben Franklin so aptly said, I see a rising sun. I hope I can work hard to earn your vote and be part of our great state's future. Thank you so much again for being here, and God bless you.